Walnut scrub, walnut scrub. Do not use unless you want to fuck up what is left of your skin. The epidermis will be very thin. Somebody please auto-tune this and let's make it an actual track. Today we are going to do a deep dive on the Kylieskin Walnut Scrub, specifically looking at every single ingredient and breaking down how it works in the skin, what it does, and whether or not that's good or bad, and if you have it or if you are thinking of purchasing it, what you should know before you actually apply it to your face. Let's dive in. The internet flipped over this because walnut scrubs are not very good for your skin in general. Kylieskin claimed on their Instagram that theirs was different because it was powdered walnut scrub, but I want to explain from a scientific perspective why that might not be anything better, and it sounds just like pretty marketing, and then also explain what else is in this product that could combine to be negative. So first off, the very first ingredient is water. That's cool, no problem there. The second ingredient is this walnut shell powder. Literally the second ingredient. Remember that ingredients are listed in order of concentration up until you get to like the 2% mark. So I understand some people want that scrubby feel. There are different types of exfoliators out there. Some are called chemical and some are called physical. Physical, as you can imagine, is an actual physical motion. It could be using some sort of a scrub, it could be some sort of a Clairsonic or a skin brush, it could be a treatment such as microdermabrasion or dermabrasion. Chemical is usually done with a lactic acid or salicylic acid, which would be an AHA acid or a BHA acid. You could also technically peel with a PHA acid, a polyhydroxy acid, but it's not as easy. But the main difference is that physical exfoliants aren't always foolproof, and if you are not getting this done by a licensed professional esthetician or dermatologist or skincare expert, you don't know if you're actually getting that done evenly. And getting this done uneven can leave not only weird patches of the skin exposed, but if you do this yourself, it could cause micro tears in the skin. And this is probable. Depending on your skin type, your skin may be more tolerant or less tolerant, but this is a major issue because a lot of people can do a lot of damage. Chemical exfoliants are a little bit different. We've spoken about them before, but they peel in a more even layer, and you can get both over the counter. Well, this walnut scrub in particular is an issue because walnut shells are jagged. It is specifically the walnut shell or the walnut seed that is used in these scrubs. And I want you to think about a hard walnut shell. It's literally like a large piece of, you could almost use an analogy of a rock or bark. And imagine scratching that on your skin. It's very painful, right? Something I've compared this to in the past is glass. I have a large piece of glass. If I were to scrape that on my skin, that would be painful, right? Same with my walnut. Now, they say that this walnut powder is powdered. So let's smash up the walnut. What do we have? Small chunks of walnut, right? If I take my piece of glass and I smash up my piece of glass, what do I have? Small pieces of glass. Is it gonna be good to like rub those all over my skin? Of course not. So my walnut shell powder is not all of a sudden gonna be smooth. It's just smaller pieces of a jagged, hard substance. Now, the one difference here is if this is pearlized or if it goes through a process in which it is actually softened on all edges. The analogy for that would be like sea glass. Have you ever noticed ocean glass that gets thrown up from the sea? It's smooth and it almost looks really pretty, or people make jewelry out of it. Again, don't go throwing your things in the ocean. It is not good for the planet, but you have seen what happens with sea glass. If walnuts are treated in a way that they are pearlized or that they are buffed, you could technically have a smooth walnut shell. But the manufacturing process for that is difficult. It is a lot more expensive, and so it is not often done. If you are really looking for a scrub, because again, some people just like that scrubby feel, look for jojoba esters. They're natural esters of jojoba. Super soft on the skin. Look for rice. Rice is really smooth. Look for almond even. Almonds are much smoother. What happens if you soak an almond in water? You ever notice how it gets a little bit smooth, a little bit soft? If you soak a walnut shell in water, it doesn't get soft. It's just a wet walnut shell. And so the fact that people are trying to get around this is just sad to me. it can do a lot of damage, and specifically the damage is that you are rubbing this onto the skin and it is potentially causing tears. If you have sensitive skin, this is super bad, and even if you have thicker skin, you may not notice it, but again, this is not an even exfoliation. It is very uneven, it can tear and it can scratch at the skin, and again, this is not something that your skin is absorbing. If this was a walnut seed oil that you were applying to the skin, you might actually absorb some benefits, that's fine, but when you have these large pieces of walnut, those are not even being absorbed. You're just scratching the surface of the skin. Now, why are these micro tears a bad thing? Well, what happens if my cat decides that I didn't feed it enough treats and it wants to come out and scratch me? My skin is going to swell up, I'm going to have a wound, I'm going to have an inflammatory response. My immune system is going to send a bunch of inflammatory cells to try to protect me from bacteria, pathogens, or anything else that's going on. If you're doing that, even on a micronized level on the skin, it can cause the skin to become more red and inflamed. This is not a good thing, especially because it's not going deep into the skin. There are treatments like microneedling that purposely cause damage so that the skin rebuilds, but they work deep in the skin. This is all on the top of those skin layers, the epidermis, and it can cause a lot of this damage. Now again, depending on your skin, you might have thicker skin or thinner skin, so you might have a different response or might not notice as much of a response. But it is not a good idea to be rubbing this on your face. And the fact that it is the second ingredient in here is not a good thing. But then it gets worse, because there are other ingredients in this product that I don't believe would play well with open, wounded skin. The third ingredient is cetyl alcohol. Again, this is a fatty alcohol. It is not drying like most alcohols, but it actually provides slip, and it could be a thickener. So again, making this product have that kind of pasty feel. And then again, this is an ingredient that is technically an alcohol. So it's kind of funny that the line is being promoted as being more alcohol-free. Yet, if you get technical, that's not really true. The third ingredient, or the fourth ingredient, is isopropyl palmitate. This is palmitoleic acid, essentially, and isopropyl alcohol. It's a moisturizer and it adds slip. Again, one of these ingredients that makes the product feel soft. Then we have sodium cocoyl isothianate. This is, again, one of those surfactants. And if you remember from the first two videos we did on the cleanser and the toner, a surfactant is an ingredient that combines two things that don't naturally want to go together. If you've ever tried mixing water and oil together, you notice how even if you shake it up, they always separate. They don't want to permanently combine. A surfactant goes in and it forces them to combine so that they could be more of like a cream or a gel, or some sort of formula where they no longer separate from each other. Then we have glycerol stearate. We saw this in the toner as well. Again, it's another skin softener. Why do we need so many of them? Then we have PEG 100 stearate. This is a water-soluble form, and this one is another emollient. It adds slip to the product. And then we have cetearyl alcohol, which is, again, another skin alcohol, but this is a fatty alcohol, so it is a little bit smoother on the skin. It's not drying. But this could also be used as a carrier molecule. A carrier molecule, literally think of, I'm gonna grab something and carry it with me. So these alcohols can penetrate the skin deeper and bring other molecules with it. But again, why do we need so many ingredients that are doing very similar things? To me, if we're just adding all of these other ingredients, it leaves more opportunity for people to have an allergic reaction or to be sensitive to some of these ingredients. Then we do have glycerin. Again, glycerin is in a lot of the other products. Glycerin is also known as glycerol. It is very hydrating, it is nourishing, and it is moisturizing to the skin. It is overall a really good ingredient, and it helps to kind of soften the outer layer of the stratum corneum. Remember, that's the very top layer of the skin that naturally sloughs off. So with this walnut scrub trying to remove that, but having glycerin, I don't know, maybe the glycerin will try to buff some of the damage of the walnut shell powder. I don't know. Then we've got squalene. Squalene is an oil that is naturally found in our skin, that our skin naturally produces. I think it's good that it's in this, but again, why would you put it in a walnut scrub? Put this in a serum or a moisturizer. It's just, why did you even make a walnut scrub? This is not 2006 anymore. Then we have polysorbate 60. This is very common in both foods that you actually consume as well as in many skincare products. This can act as a fragrance, so it might be giving some sort of a scent, but it also acts as a surfactant, again, bringing together things like water and oil that wouldn't naturally want to mix. Then we have phenoxyethanol. This as well was in the toner, and I believe that this is being used as some sort of a fragrance or some sort of a preservative. Then we have acrylates C10, C30, and some cross polymers. This was in the toner as well. well, and we do see this in some foundations. This is common in skincare. It's a thickener, and it's also a stabilizer. Then we have panthenol, which is really great. Your skin actually turns this into vitamin B5. Vitamin B5 is really great for wound healing. It's really beneficial to the skin. And especially if you're using the walnut scrub, you're gonna need some wound healing. So that's like the one positive thing here. Then we have aminomethylpropanol. Again, this is used very commonly in chemistry as a buffering agent. It's used to change the pH of a product if you want the pH of a solution to be different. I don't know what she's using it here for, but she did use it in the toner as well. We have chloropensin in here, which is a preservative. We have allotonin, which is a nitrogen-based moisturizer. This is a little bit different because it is a good ingredient, but our human bodies do not naturally produce it. The bacteria that actually lives on our bodies is what produces this, and our body can utilize it. So this is good, but is it in a form that our body can actually absorb? And then if there's inflammation happening from the micro tears from the walnut scrub, can the body even concentrate on using this nitrogen-based moisturizer? I don't know. Then we do have the apricot kernel oil. I bet you this is partially due to the scent and partially due to the fact that it can be very nourishing, can soften the outer layer of the skin cells. And if you were not using this in an exfoliator, I would want the outer skin cells to be softened, but this idea of just scratching up the skin and trying to soften it even more means that you would need less pressure to dig deeper. And to dig deeper means more wounds because it's scratchy. So I know that Kylie recommends like wetting the skin before using this product because it softens the skin. And while that might help like abrasion wise, if anything, if you press too hard, it makes it easier to over exfoliate and easier to cause damage. So I'm sorry, I really don't understand the guidelines for this product at all. Then we do have jojoba seed oil, which I love. This is fantastic, and I use it in my skincare routine all the time. Again, why would you put it in a walnut scrub? Because why would you make a walnut scrub? And the toner did have jojoba, so just use that instead if you really wanted to do it. Then we have xanthan gum. People are sometimes afraid of this, but it's actually found in food as well. It is basically a thickener. It sometimes is used as a gelatin alternative. Kind of helps to thicken things, and it probably makes this walnut scrub goopy. I mean, if you saw the picture, it looks like a sausage. So this probably helps it stay together. You never realize how many helicopters fly by in a day until you try to film a YouTube video. Then we have Panax ginseng root extract. This is just ginseng. Ginseng is wonderful because it is an antioxidant. It can be really nice at making the skin look glowy and look fresh. And it does a really good job at that. Again, it's a natural ginseng root. The only thing is that if we have this ingredient in the scrub, is the scrub making us look glowy and exfoliated, or is it this ingredient? So again, why damage your skin? Do you really want to fuck up your face and pay like $22 to do so? I don't know. That's your call. Then we have Vaccinium myrtillus fruit extract. The F is this. I decided to Google, and Google turned up that it is a European blueberry. It appears to have some antioxidants, which could be helpful to the skin. It appears to be a little bit skin brightening, so that might be a positive, but I would like to look more into the actual mechanism of action, again, how and why it works within the skin, and see what it does and what it's doing in this product. Then we have hydrolyzed viola tricolor extract, which I at first thought was some sort of a colorant, but it actually seems to be from wild pansies, wild flowers. It seems to increase water binding in the epidermis. I found an article about this, so it is technically a hydrator, which you're going to need, especially if you scratch your skin. You're gonna need something to try to keep the hydration in because the scratches can cause tears and cause transepidermal water loss, meaning hydration or water being lost transiently through the epidermis, the outer layer of the skin. So seems like a pretty cool extract. I'd like to see it in other products, just not a walnut scrub. Then we do have sugarcane extract. When people think of sugarcane, they usually think of glycolic acid because glycolic acid is also derived from sugarcane, but this ingredient is different because this is an extract. It's not the acid form, and it is basically another skin conditioner. And again, this is natural, plant-derived. Why don't we just get rid of all the other skin conditioners and just use one? Like, do we really need 50? Then again, we do have that kiwi seed oil. I believe that it's being used as a fragrance or potentially for its omega-3 benefits. Maybe it's hydrating the skin. We then have orange fruit extract. This is really great because orange fruit extract has some amazing antioxidant properties and vitamin C. These can brighten the skin, these can cause glow, they could potentially stimulate collagen. The only thing is that it's probably being used as a scent in this product. I don't think there's going to be enough of it in here. And then right after that, we have lemon fruit extract, which is very fragrant, and again, it does have vitamin C. Then again, depending on what portions of the extract are being used. Have you ever put lemon juice on an open wound? I sincerely hope you have not, because it is painful AF. And if you have some sort of a very fragrant lemon extract or lemon derivative in here, depending on how acidic the rest of the formula is, this could potentially be painful, especially for someone who has sensitive skin. So I don't know how I feel about that. Again, the walnuts screw everything up. Then it gets super interesting. We do have sugar maple extract. This is wonderful because in general, it's an exfoliator, and it's a chemical exfoliator. So again, it exfoliates more evenly without that abrasive damage. It is an AHA acid, which means it has that nice molecule that is water soluble. But the thing about that is that because it's water soluble, why is it combined with a product that has so many oils? Again, we had that kiwi seed oil, we had the apricot oil. Why are you putting a water soluble AHA acid into this? Is there something I don't understand? And then if you have micro tears from the walnuts, why are you going to put a chemical exfoliator directly onto those? It makes no sense. And if people start getting their Kylie kits and they realize that the walnut scrub does make their skin red, but then it looks really glowy after, I would argue that it's the ginseng extract and that it's the literal maple extract as an AHA acid that is causing those benefits in the skin. And the walnut is just damaging. Then we have ethyl hexyl glycerin. This is again a preservative and another surfactant. We then have sodium hyaluronate. Now this is where it gets very interesting. The Kylie skincare line claims that they have hyaluronic acid. Technically they have sodium hyaluronate. Hyaluronic acid is a polysaccharide. It's basically like a sugar, a group of sugars, whereas sodium hyaluronate is the salt of that. So it's not the exact same thing. Sodium hyaluronate is good because it is smaller, so it can penetrate deeper, and it can hold thousands of times its weight in water when it is combined. So it can act as a humectant and to really nourish and hydrate the skin. The only thing is that, is this a good idea combined with this walnut scrub? Let's first talk hyaluronic acid. Again, hyaluronic acid is the sugar. It is actually made within our bodies. It's in our connective tissue and it's in eyes as well. And hyaluronic acid has been shown to heal wounds or to help with wound healing, which again, if you're using a walnut scrub, you're going to need. But remember, we don't have hyaluronic acid in this product. We have sodium hyaluronate, the salt of hyaluronic acid. Sodium hyaluronate has been used in medical settings. There have been studies on it, and there are prescription creams and gels that have sodium hyaluronate in it. It can help with wound healing because it does potentially speed up that recovery. There was a study that was done, but they really didn't have a control group, so who knows if it was that great. But if you've ever had like a wound on the inside of your mouth, have you ever done one of those salt washes where you like swish salt? Or if you ever have an open wound, have you ever poured like a saline salt solution on it? It can help to get rid of some dangerous pathogens or bacteria and to kind of sterilize the area, but it hurts like hell. If you ever put salt in an open wound, you know how bad it hurts. Like, there are much better ways. And if you are literally causing micro tears on the skin, potentially, if you have the sodium hyaluronate in here, if it is not combined with water, that could be very, very painful to the skin, especially for somebody who has sensitive skin. Even some of the side effects of the prescription gels and prescription medications can be itching, stinging, blistering, burning. They're semi-uncommon, but those are some of the side effects because it is literally the salt derivative from hyaluronic acid. Why is this being combined with a product that literally scratches and tears the skin? You want to screw up your face? Use this. All right, you want to get rid of what's left of your epidermis in like patchy areas and like leave it alone in other areas, use this. I get that people like the scrubby feel. There are much better products that can do that. This walnut scrub got even worse than I expected because again, it's not just the walnuts, it's what it's combined with and how that can hurt skin. Again, I think Kylie has a responsibility. This is people's skin. Makeup you can wash off, clothing you can take off, that's fine. People's skin, if you fuck it up, it's really hard to get back into balance. If something goes wrong, it can take weeks, if not months, to repair. And makeup, you can put it on and change your look every day. Your skin, you have to live in 24/7. It is an organ that protects you. And the fact that this product was launched that does not do that is very painful. If you want a physical exfoliator, there are safer ones out there. Even just use a charcoal one. And if you're open to using a chemical exfoliator, they are natural, if not more effective. They exfoliate more evenly, and they are much easier to control. If you want a video on the difference between physical and chemical exfoliators, you can watch that here. And to see the other videos I've done breaking down the Kylie line ingredient by ingredient, you can click here. Your skin takes care of you. You should take care of it too. If you want to fuck up your face, then use walnuts to exfoliate. It will be a disgrace. You'll be left with a mess, and this is no longer a rap song. Okay, bye.